Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Lyndsay Mitcheson is the founder of NeoWalk, the creators of gloriously different walking sticks. Lyndsay has an amazing story to share, and during our interview, her pet parrot Blanco also had plenty to say about her business journey. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Lyndsay.
Thank you for having me, Liz.
Now, you've got an amazing life story, which we will hear a bit about in a minute. And I know life didn't really go exactly where you were expecting. So let's just go back to the beginning. And what was it that you wanted to do? When you were at school, what did you want to be? What were your plans for the future?
Oh, goodness. Do you know, I remember being a younger child, so sort of 7, 8, and firmly wanting to be a policeman, police person, policewoman, firmly thinking that I wanted to go in the police force. But, you know, as time sort of marched on, things changed. And I don't know what my dream ended up being. Later in life, I actually trained to be a hairdresser so I could open my own business. So I think probably if I traced it back, I always wanted to be my own boss.
Yeah.
I think also I saw my parents do that. They had their own shop. So I think possibly I wanted to do that. I didn't have huge dreams. I didn't want to change the world. I didn't want to, discover the cure to anything. I didn't have great aspirations, but I think possibly I did always have that entrepreneurial side in me. But clearly also being being a boss person as well. That was probably in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So you never did get to open your own salon. So tell us why that dream didn't happen.
Yeah. So when my kids were older, sort of 11, 12, and that they were going to a secondary school, I knew that I had more time. So I knew that I could plan for sort of my next stage of, because I was a stay-at-home mum with them for a lot of years, which was amazing, and I loved it. And I thought, I'm creative, I love colour, and I love working with my hands. And we had a really good hair academy in the town near where I lived. So I trained to be a hairdresser, fully intending to go and open my own salon. However, as life gets in the way and things happen and plans don't go according to what you want. I contracted a really severe MRSA infection during some knee surgery that I had, because I'd always had arthritis in my knees from being younger. And that kind of put the kibosh on all that, and I was left quite severely disabled, which led to me being an amputee, which I am now. So life kind of got in the way. I never got to open my salon, and I regret that, because I think I would have been really good at it. But then I've gone on and crushed it, being an entrepreneur in other areas. So, I can't grumble. I really can't grumble.
Yeah, you absolutely have crushed it.
I tried.
So tell me about your business and how it came about.
Yeah, so this nasty MRSA infection left me with a severely disabled left leg that I lived with for 3 years, and then decided that because it was heading for amputation anyway, I just thought, no, let's just get rid of this thing now. It's not a team player, it's holding me back, it's actually just deteriorating, and I couldn't just bear to sit there and watch it deteriorate to a point where someone else said to me, oh, you need to have this done, because this infection had happened to me, and I wanted to take back control. So in a very dramatic way, I took back control and said, please, let's get rid of this leg and I can start making progression again, which is exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And I became a super active amputee with a prosthetic leg. Really, loved learning to walk again, and I had the fitness, and I was young. I was only 43. So, and I found that I needed a walking stick sometimes just for a bit of balance and a bit of support, which is what walking sticks are meant for. And I looked, oh my God, and they were awful. They were gruesome. It's the kind of thing that you'd buy, your grandma for Christmas, or you would just not want to be seen with it. So I examined this and thought, God, I could do it better myself. And I did. I made, I wanted... this was at a time when I still wanted to be invisible. I was still going through lots of big body image changes and coming to terms with what had happened. So I wanted an invisible walking stick. So that was why I made one out of clear acrylic.
Yeah.
Because I thought, that'll be invisible. No one will even see what I'm leaning on. And it actually worked really, really well. But people did see what I was leaning on.
Yeah.
But they came and said, oh, God, love your walking stick. That's really, really cool. And, my head started to grow a little bit. And I thought, oh, that's actually really nice. It gave me a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And people were looking at my walking stick and not why I was using it. So I continued to do this with different colours, and people kept asking me, oh, I really love your walking stick. And one day I thought I would just see how it felt to say, oh, I run my own business. And I did. I said this. I'd have my own business making them. And people just said, yeah, I'd buy one off you. Have you got a website? Have you got a card? Have you got a... And that was really... my confidence grew so much. I felt, I could give this to other people, because it made me feel so much better about using a walking stick. I couldn't be the only person that would feel this way. And that was it. The business was born, and that became my mission. That was my light bulb moment.
Yeah.
That became my... when people talk about their why and they realise why they're here. Do you know, I think I'd possibly gone through all this shit, and I'd developed such a resilience, and I'd... come up with this concept to give to other people, and I thought, this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
And that was when the business started, and I've never looked back.
Yeah. So how easy was it to make that first stick?
Oh, it depends what you call easy.
Well, I've got no idea how you go about doing it, Lyndsay.
I remember sitting on my kitchen floor with the oven on, the kitchen oven, and holding the acrylic in there, thinking, I don't want this to melt, and it needed to get to a point where it bent, but didn't melt fully.
Shall we introduce your friend?
I'm really sorry. There's somebody just walked past the window. So I'm in here with my... Hello, mate. This is my parrot, Blanco, who was just gate crashed the podcast. I'm really sorry. So, he's a 47-year-old cockatoo who doesn't know when to shut up.
Bless him.
So,
He's very welcome to be here.
Yeah. So I sat on the kitchen floor with the oven on, and I sit with the acrylic rod inside the oven, just heating up so it gets quite pliable. And then I moulded the handle around a wine bottle, which was, and it made the perfect handle, to be honest. So that was how the first one was made. Yeah.
And so what's the process now? I mean, you're producing a lot more than just this single one for you.
Got to drink a lot of wine.
Yes.
That's the only answer. And I've got to get all the staff as well. No, we do it a little bit more scientifically now. So we still have ovens that heat the end of the acrylic. And then we mould them around special jigs that we make that make our particular handle shapes. So it's and we can make a lot now, because we do get a lot of orders. So we have to be prepared. Sometimes I'll give you Black Friday, Christmas as an example. We have to be prepared to make like 100 walking sticks a day.
Wow.
So, which takes more than one person.
Yes.
We have a little team. Everything shifts when we get really busy.
Yeah.
So it's all different now. When I hark back to those days of sitting on the kitchen floor and it was just me, it was very easy, really.
Yeah. And you've had some quite famous customers, haven't you? Who are they and how did that come about?
So we're very lucky that the famous Hollywood people that have come to us organically. We haven't reached out to them. They came to us. So the lovely Selma Blair, she's one of our customers. She just buys them off us. Her name will appear periodically in the order book, and it's like, oh, Selma. Didn't expect that at all. She's become a really good friend of the business.
Yeah.
And also Christina Applegate, her stylist, reached out to us when Christina was ready to be seen by the world, because she was diagnosed with MS, and she kind of hid away a lot during the early days of her diagnosis, and then she became ready to be seen when they gave her Hollywood Star of Fame. They gave her the Hollywood Star of Fame, and she was ready to go out with a walking stick.
Yeah.
So they asked us to design something special for her. So, and she's become a really good friend as well. So we're very, very lucky that we haven't had to, ambulance chase these people.
Yeah.
They've actually come to us because they love what we do, which for me is just a big. That's a really big plus, that they've just turned up to us organically.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about the range of sticks that you have today. What kind of colours do you have? And do you do bespoke orders as well?
Yeah, we do every colour you can imagine across the rainbow. We do from clear to black and everything in between. We do the blues, the reds, the pinks, the oranges, the yellows, everything in between, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
And a colour can speak to one person but not speak to another. So what we want to have is a range of colours where everybody can come and they can find something that speaks to them. And also they're very personalisable, if that's a word. I just made it a word. So you can choose to decorate, you can choose to have a engraved collar with a very special message. We've had wedding, marriage proposals on an engraving, which was so lovely. We do really bespoke walking sticks as well. We made we've done this a couple of times actually, where we've had requests for loved ones' ashes to be included in the walking stick. So we made one for a young lady who was getting married and she'd lost her dad, and we included her dad's ashes in the handle of her walking stick. So she was actually connecting with her dad when she walked down the aisle. So, and we've done that with pet ashes. Yeah. So pets could go along for walks, even when they've passed. We've done lots of really lovely bespoke ideas across the board. We've done ones that resonate with mermaids. We've done very goth-looking ones. We've done, because everybody's just different. Yes. And that's the main thing that we want to get across from the business, is that we understand that everybody's different and you want to express your personality, which leads straight back to the problem that I had when I was looking. There was nothing spoke about me really. So we do try and do something different for everybody, and we know that everybody is different.
Yeah. And what sort of feedback have you had from some of the people that have bought your sticks?
Oh, goodness. Emails that will make you cry, that they'll just reduce you to... It's just that feeling of freedom again that they give to people, which is the feeling I had, that feeling of, oh my goodness, I'm me again, and I'm expressing myself and people are seeing me. It's a bit like when you choose to wear a certain pair of glasses, and I personally, I love glasses. I collect glasses. I love them because they say something about me. It's a bit like that feeling when people look at you and they're getting a snapshot of who you are. And that's the kind of feedback that we get from people. I haven't left the house for 3 years because I've been so ashamed of being seen with a walking stick, because there is a lot of shame associated with using mobility aids, especially when you're younger.
Yeah,
especially when it doesn't match when the public see you, and it just doesn't correlate with them that a young person should be using a walking stick. They get a lot of abuse. They get called fakers. They get called there is a lot of shame associated. So when you can step out with something that you feel proud of, and you don't mind people looking at you with that walking stick, the feedback is incredible.
Yeah.
We get, people came and spoke to me for the first time, because people sometimes don't know what to say to someone with a disability.
Yeah.
And when there's a conversation starter, which is what we call them,
Yes.
like a jazzy walking stick, people can come over and say, "Oh my God, love your stick.
Yeah.
It reminds me of ABC."
Yeah.
And that's the conversation starter, and it gives people an in
Yeah.
to talking to someone that they may not have had the confidence to go over and say. I would walk over to anybody and say, "Love your jacket, love your shoes, love your hair," because I think as a woman, we do that kind of thing because we do want to raise other women. And I think I don't have a problem doing that, but other people might. So when they are looking for an in to talk to somebody, their walking stick is a great way in.
Yeah.
So tons of feedback, and it's across the board, where people say they spoke to me about my walking stick and not my disability.
Yeah.
And it shifts that focus,
Yeah.
which when you've got a disability, it's magic.
Yeah.
It's a godsend, it's priceless.
Yeah.
So, we get people handing out business cards that it's almost like they work for me, because people are constantly asking, "Where did you get it?
Yeah.
Where did you get it?" So they become little agents for me on
Yes,
the street, and
yeah.
we get this organic growth, again of... I had a customer who said, "Lyndsay, I'm going to Tasmania. I want to take a new stick with me." This was years ago. And she took a new stick with her to Tasmania. Sure enough, within 3 weeks, we're getting orders from Tasmania. And that's that's beautiful. That is real organic, not pushing it. It's just growing by itself.
Yeah.
And I think we're very lucky to have that kind of growth. But then the positivity that they create, the confidence that they create, it's just that freedom to be who you want to be, maybe a bit of who you were before you had your disability. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, wonderful. So you've had some things happen in your life that were probably a bit unexpected, but because you're an amputee, so tell me about some of the things that you've done, your circus stunts, your film credits, your TV appearances.
Yeah, goodness. Well, when I lost my leg, I think, there's 2 ways I could have gone. I could have gone a very dark route, because I had every right to feel bitter and to feel loss. Because of what happened to me. And, I did wallow in it for a while. Don't get me wrong. I did spend some time in that area. But, then I choose to be happy every day. I choose to be positive, and I choose to be grateful for what I do have rather than what I don't have. So on a daily basis, and I did start this from quite early on in my journey, that I choose to look at the things that I can take positive things from. So I would be a yes person. So when I started getting emails about offering me different types of jobs, I started working initially for an agency that found work for amputees. And basically I started as a trauma casualty live actor.
Yeah.
So I would go on exercises with the army, with the police, with the all the blue light services, with the SAS, with private security services, just anybody that was looking to book an exercise to simulate things going wrong. So we simulated university shootings, marathon bombings, train crashes, pretty grim stuff. And I would turn up with this leg that was made to look like it had just been blown off. I'd be planted in an area where people would find me and I would scream and squirt blood at them. And that's basically how each exercise would go. And it was to desensitize people, essentially, you know, especially in the army. And it was to teach them medically that you are that person's chance of life, because nobody's going to come running. You need to save that person's life. So basically that was what we did. And took part in some amazing exercises. So that same agency offered me the chance to work with the Olympics in 2012 in London. And I got this email saying, we are looking for 40 disabled people. The work is going to be at height. That's all. That's all we know. Are you interested? So, Lyndsay, yes, Lyndsay. Yeah, totally. And it turned out that I trained to be a circus performer for London 2012, and I literally ran away with the circus, Liz. For 6 months, I went and lived in London, and I trained as a circus performer.
Amazing.
And that was to perform in the closing ceremony and the opening ceremony of the Paralympics in 2012. So anyone that saw those ceremonies, especially the closing, because that was a bit nuts, that stunt. You'll have seen people flying around under umbrellas and on trapezes. And in the closing, I did a thing with Coldplay, where there was a motorbike that flew from the bottom of the stadium to the top of the stadium with a blonde amputee hanging underneath off a trapeze, and I admit to being that amputee. So crazy things that just came my way, and I was so blessed that they came my way, so I just seized it all and said, I'm going to do this. Instead of people telling me I can't do things, actually, let's take this stuff and let's do it. So I did that. I was offered the role of Peggy Sue, the one-legged stripper in Bad Education, the movie with Jack Whitehall. So I went and dressed up as a pirate stripper with a peg leg, literally with a pirate peg leg, and performed as Peggy Sue, the one-legged stripper, who at the time my dad was still with us, and he was telling all his friends, he's an older guy, he was telling all his friends that Lyndsay was a prostitute. And I'm going, actually, no, Dad, just a stripper. And she doesn't take her clothes off anyway. She was a really bad stripper. So as quick as she was taking her clothes off, the audience were throwing them back at her. So, but that was an amazing experience. And I, loved every second of that. And what else did I do? Oh, Dragon's Den, of course, which ties in with the business. But I actually braved the Dragon's Den, and I went in there as well, which was terrifying. And I can tell you, as someone who was flown 50 metres high, hanging off a motorbike, that was pretty scary. But going into the den was probably even scarier. Yeah, Deborah Meaden, force to be reckoned with, she is.
Oh, yeah. And what was the outcome of your Dragon's Den?
Yeah, it was, I mean, from a PR point of view, it was great.
Yes,
because they loved what I did. They gave some really amazing feedback, but they didn't invest.
Yeah.
Just let my friend.
That's what he thinks about it.
That's what he thinks. Yeah, He watched, he didn't like it. So but the feedback was amazing, and to get that feedback from those people sat in there was incredible. And there's a part of me that, because I gave them all walking sticks. You know, when they go in, everybody gives them a gift.
Yeah.
So I gave them all walking sticks. So Peter Jones's walking stick was about as tall as Deborah Meaden, because he is a giant. He's huge. And Deborah Meaden, I gave her one that was made of all recycled pieces. So she really liked that. And then Stephen Bartlett, I gave him a light-up one, which he proceeded to jump up out of his seat and start jumping around, playing with it as if it was a lightsaber. And I know that he would remember me. So there's part of me thinks, if I saw Stephen Bartlett in a lift, I know he'd remember me.
Yeah.
So that's, but God, life has brought me all those experiences. So you will never hear me say that what has happened to me has ruined my life, because it really hasn't. And it just depended which avenue I wanted to take with it. And I took the positive route, where I was still young enough to say, actually, no, there's good stuff can come of this. And I did that, and life has presented me some amazing experiences. I've met amazing people. I'm doing this amazing job. And I keep saying the word amazing, but it is.
It is.
I get up and I get to do this every day, where we're changing people's lives with every box that we send out. And my team are so invested in this. None of them have disabilities. I'm the only one in the team, but they get it. They get what we're doing. They get what our mission is. And they know that every box we send out can really turn someone's life upside down and change it for them. And I love that about what we do.
Yeah.
So it's a real blessing that I get to be part of this every day.
Yeah, I think amazing definitely is the word for it, for sure.
But it is, and it's unique, as is, what I've turned out to be is quite a unique specimen, really. So it's only fair that what we do is quite unique as well. But I really love what we do.
Yeah. So let's chat a bit about the networking side of things now. How have you built a network for your business?
So we initially started building a community on social media. So on Instagram, we started, because that's a good way to get to connect with people, because these are very visual.
Yes.
They're beautiful. So we needed to connect visually with people. So that was how we started to connect early on, about sort of 5 years ago. And we've now built a community of about 40,000 people. There's a lot of people on there, and they talk to each other. And they have connected with each other also, and they are making friends with people they may never meet, but nonetheless they're making friends with people who get what you are going through. So whether you're having good days, bad days, middle days, terrible days, challenging, celebratory, whatever, there's always someone out there that can connect to what you're going through. And we've done the same on Facebook. We created this Facebook community group that, again, there's thousands of people in there, and they share stuff with each other. And I'm very blessed to be part of those groups as well. So they accept me as just Lyndsay. Lyndsay might be having a really rubbish day with her legs, neck, shoulders, whatever's going on. And they've accepted me into there, and I can talk to people just as Lyndsay, made some amazing friends. And we found that that's a really good way to get our message out there, and to talk to people about what we do, about what we're trying to do, to get the images out there of what we sell. Because I can say, Liz, we've got this really cool red stick, and you don't know what I'm talking about. I can say, Liz, there's a picture of this red stick, and you'll go, holy shit, I've never seen a walking stick like that. And that happens quite a lot. So that's how we connect. We do the usual sort of emailing people, That there's many ways to connect with people out there, but we've certainly found that social media is a really good way.
Yeah.
And we are trying to bring our communities together physically as well. So we are going to start doing community roadshows where we encourage our community to go and meet up with us in different cities. So if I say to you, Liz, we're coming to Lincoln on the 15th of the month, we'll be there, the team will be there, come along and meet us. And so all these people from that area are going to come along, and they're going to get to meet each other. So it's not just because, God, social media it's connecting, but it is so disconnected in a way, because we don't get that physical to look into someone's eyes and see them smile and see what they're really going through. So I really want to get people together so they actually make that physical connection as well. So we're going to start doing that quite shortly, and I'm really looking forward to that.
No, that sounds great. Do you go to other events or expos, that kind of thing with your product?
Yeah, we do. We do. We just did a really big exhibition in Birmingham that we do every year called NAIDEX, and we connect with a lot of our community there. And then we're doing another accessible marketplace in Milton Keynes. We're doing that one, which is a good place where people can go along. It's just general accessible clothing, accessible homewares, accessible mobility aids, wheelchairs, everything that you can imagine that could be to do with a disabled sort of life. So we're going there. That'll be a really good place to connect with people as well. But I just want to look in people's eyes. I want to give them a hug. Whenever we have the hub at in York where we work from, which is a place that people can book to privately come along and have an appointment, and they can see everything we do, they can meet everybody, they get measured, they look at the full range, they try everything, they get tea, coffee, meet the bird, meet the dogs, everything. And the first thing I want to know is, are you a hugger? Because I just want to hug everybody, because it's just so lovely to meet everybody in that way.
Yeah. So my final question then, Lyndsay, if people are interested in finding out more about you and your sticks, what is the best place for them to connect with you?
So the best place would be to find our website at neo-walk.com, and you can also connect with us on Facebook and Instagram, and the handle is at NeoWalkSticks, and you'll find us there and thousands and thousands of people who are just ready to be a new friend, just somebody you can connect with and talk to. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for sharing your amazing story and amazing business with us. And thanks to Blanco for his interjections as well. Yeah,
there weren't that many, but they had volume, didn't they? There you go, saying goodbye now,
Thank you, Lyndsay.
Thank you so much, Liz. Lovely to meet you.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.